Hi all, welcome to the CS Academy, and this is third tutorial of this linked list series. And today we are going to learn about insert insertion in the linked list, and we will have this insert at the begin, insert at end, and insert after a given node. So just to recap, linked list is the memory blocks associated with some kind of links, and those memory blocks are called nodes. Okay, so in visualization we understand like this one. Okay, so each of these is called node, where we will have data, and then it will have a link which will point to some another part of memory block called node, and which will have some other data. Okay, so this is the given linked list we have, in which the first node we call as head. Okay, now insert at the begin means, if we have a linked list and we have to insert a node in the beginning. So what do we need to do is just create a node, and then link this node to head, and then this head you make it this first step and second step. Okay, so and today we are going to write the code, and we will be using Python. Okay, so it's easier to understand. And just to recap on this Python creation of linked list and all those. So in Python we need two classes, called one class called node, another class called linked list. Okay, and then we will be using node to create linked list. Okay, so this is pretty simple. Now let's first do this part. The first is insert at the begin. So when we have the linked list and uh, we need to insert a node in the beginning, so we need to create a node and then point that node to head, and then make the new node as head. So first step and second step. Suppose we have a list for which head is, I mean, there is no node in the list, so head will be none. So in that case, we just need to create the new node and make the new node as head node. Okay, so we will try to first write that part. Okay, now so I'll just delete this. Now I'll create a file, linked list, linked list insertion.py. So just define the classes you need. Okay, so class you need node, and then define the self is a reference to the node itself. Self dot data is data, then self dot next is none, and whatever null is in C programming, the same thing we have as none in the Python programming. Okay, so this memory block, one prototype or template, we we gave like the memory block which will have a data, and which and another member is the address to some other part of memory. Okay, now just create linked list class, and then self dot head is none. Okay, in this linked list class itself, we will have insert at begin, and just pass the reference and then pass a new data. Okay, in that case, what do we need to do? We need to make a new node, and to create a new node, what do we need to do is just create an instance of the node we have created earlier, this part. Okay, so we will say node which takes one value. Self is a reference, so we don't have to pass anything. Data we need to pass. Okay, so we created the new node. Now, since self.head is nothing, what do we need to do? As we said, if insert at the begin and head is not there, so what do we need to create the node and make the uh, make the next of the new node as head, and then make head as new node. So what do we need to do? New node dot next is self dot head, and then self dot head you make as new node. So this is done. This part is done. Insert at the begin, it will work always. Okay, now let's understand insert at the end. Insert at the end is the second part of this one. Let's say this. So if you have a list and then you need to insert at the end, what do you need to do is head is given here. Okay, so you need to traverse till the end until you get the none, and then point this next as new node, and you are done. Okay, because let's see that in the code. Okay, define insert at end self new data, then we need to make new node, and it says node new data. Okay, I did not pass here. It will always create new data. It will always create a node with one values, so we just new data. Okay, now we need to check. Okay, in this case we need to check if head is not there. Then what do we need to do? Suppose insertion at the end we have to do, so head is pointing to nothing. What do we need to do is create the new node and make the new node as head. Okay, if self dot head is none, then self dot head is new node, and then return. Okay, return. Now suppose this was the case when you have nothing in the node, in the list, so you need to create a new node and make the new node as head in the insertion at the end. Now next we will have, next is little bit tricky. So suppose you have, this was the second, this was first. Okay, now we will understand third with white. So you have given a list. Okay, your head is given 1, 5, 8, 12, and this as none. So what do we need to do here is the, if address of this is passed, and we need to insert after this. So Suppose new data is coming as 50. So what will happen? We will create a node. Okay, we will create a node with 50 value. Okay, now the steps are here. First step is this one will be first step. First step, create node, and when you create, point this to next of the given node. Means the given node is 5, so next of 5 is 8, so point the new node next to 8, and then third step is you break this and link to this. Okay, this combines third step, breaking. And so breaking is nothing but, earlier we will have, like in this case we will have head dot next is 5. Okay, now head dot next dot next will we will have 8. So what we need to do is make head dot next dot next as 50, and this part is new node, so we need to say before this we need to make new node dot next equal to 8, and then head of next is make 50. So we will see that in the code. Okay, insert after self given node, then new data. Okay, just create the node equals to node of new data, and then if given node doesn't exist, is none, then you need to report this given node does not exist, and then you return, because that's not that's that's not available, so you cannot add after something which is not there. Okay, now you need to say new node, as we discussed. First make new node. We created this new node. Now with line number 22, now we need to make new node dot next. New node dot next is given node dot next, and then 27 will say given node dot next is equals to new node. So it breaks the link with the next node and uh, attached with the new node we created. Okay, in this case we will try to insert at the end is not completed. I just noticed insert at the end. So insert at the end is this part, when we need to traverse is not done. What do we need to do is, to traverse we need to have a temp variable, and we need to uh, go to temp.next we need to make. So what do we need to do is, suppose temp is self dot head. Okay, and we need to say while temp dot next is available, make temp equal to temp dot next, and temp dot next is make the new node. So this is completed here. Now insert after is already we have covered. Now just print list. Okay, in the list we'll just pass the reference to the class, and then we'll say temp equals temp dot head, self dot head, and then while temp, just print that temp dot data, and we will have something called space, and then temp equal to temp dot next. Okay, so this is what is needed to insert insertion in the linked list. So we'll try to have a driver program here. If name, okay, so create the list, linked list. Linked list is equals to, we created the list. Now pass linked list dot insert begin 1, and then linked list dot print list. So we will try to run this, control backtick, and then we will say we have only linked list. Now Python, okay, one came. Now in this one, so we inserted after, we inserted at the beginning. Now let's dot insert after self dot head, self dot head 2. Okay, self dot head is not defined. So what do you say? Self dot head is not defined. So okay, so it's something like, since self dot head is the object or means reference to the list, so we have created the object here. So we need to pass linked list dot head. Okay, linked list dot head 2, and then we can have, so after that we printed this. Now let's add again just after 1. Okay, so we will copy this and paste, and we want to print, we want to insert, and this should come as 19835 and then 2. Okay, so it came. Now so insert after is coming. Now let's insert at the end 100. Okay, now let's check that. So at the end is also working. So if we do not have any of this and insert at the end we do, okay, sorry, linked list dot insert at end 10, shall it print 10? Yes, it should print 10. Okay, now suppose we say linked list dot insert after linked list dot head dot next, and then 200, shall it print? No, it should report. Okay, given node does not exist, and then print 10. Okay, now so these are the test cases. You can go through the code, and uh, you can comment and comment some part, and then insert your code and test it out. Okay, so that's all for the day, and if you like the video, please like it and subscribe the channel. And if you want this tutorial in C or C++ programming, please do comment and I'll release a tutorial on that. That's all for the day. Thank you.